Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Jar of Marble dwellers and Jar of Marble curious. My name is Linda and I'm Bob, and that's Bob. And we're here at Jar of Marbles and we're very, very pleased that you could join us today. I'm really happy. I'm so happy. Okay, we got it, Bob. Okay, I was just saying that I'm happy. I know. Ho, 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 ho. Okay, this week I want to talk a little bit about start a radical love affair. Oh, this sounds like a saucy one. You might be disappointed, Bobby boy. Yeah, I think so, yeah. This is a whole lot about self-respect, the real deal, not 11 letters that just make up a word. 11 letters? Yeah, well, 11 letters in the real deal, those 3 words. This is so important. It is... I so just want to see more of it in the world around me, and we're hearing more people talk about it. And when we firmly decide that we want to grow out of a way of being that is simply not serving us anymore, and when we reach that place, we know it, right? Yeah, I guess. And we know when the same actions produce the same outcomes, and we feel the same and we react the same, and when we're feeling low, boy, do we get low. Yeah, that's right, that's true. And in this instance, particularly when a relationship fails, it's over. You've been ghosted, you've been dumped, unceremoniously so. You want them back, you want it back to how it was and all the good stuff, all the stuff that you thought it was good. Some people, after breaking up with someone, stay weirdly in touch with them over any reason to keep some kind of connection just in case they realise just how fabulous you are. It's not cool. It never works, and even if you can weasel your way back in, it's only just going to fail. And the only way it'll float is if you be less to suit the narrative. What was that? If you be less to suit the narrative. How about that? Being less to suit another's narrative, or the one you perceive you have to be, or to be in their life or their bed, or whatever it is you need to feel that you're okay. If they think you're okay, then you're okay. No, stop. And what did I do? No, not you, Bob. Listen up, sugar cakes. Yeah, okay. We've got to show our teeth. We have to care for ourselves, that we know, to ask ourselves really good questions, like what's crossing boundaries? Because let's be frank, when boundaries are crossed, your body, with a body jolt, tells you immediately. You know very well what that is. You know that a line has been crossed. We've just got real good at ignoring it and paying the price later. Actually, that's true. Yeah, Bob. It's so normal in many cultures in varying degrees. We must learn to normalise honouring ourselves and our needs. That's the seed from which everything grows. No one ever told me that I was the love of my life. When I first heard that concept of being your own superhero and the love of your life and all that jazz, I had no idea how to process that with any seriousness anyway. I simply thought it was a little absurd. But like so many of us, I just counted myself out. Oh, yeah, that's so true. And I don't want to witness my daughters doing that. I'm speaking up and talking to them in a deeper and more meaningful way. Well, have always, but as I grow and as they grow, we find out different information. We've always just shared it with each other. And in a meaningful ways regarding especially their love of their own lives, of their own selves, them and them alone, you and you alone. We do not need to be less to suit any narrative. Whoop, whoop. So true. That's right. We must learn to know that we do not do less to suit some other. We've got to show our teeth. First step in self-respect, I'll assume this is a new concept, is hashtag you got to start a radical love affair with you. Becoming aware of relationships, friendships, coming in and out of your life, what you like, what you don't like, and you honour that. Look at you go, figuring things out. That's what we do, pushing through fear. We've got to go through these bad times. We've got to go through it, because if we don't, it'll bite us down the line. Man, how many have to push through fear every damn day of their life because of some other doofus? We know what pushing through is. Pushing through fear is, pushing through anxiety, all the while learning from our mistakes. No, it's not easy, and it is not fun, and it certainly does not feel like you're making progress, but that's the thing about progress. Much like courage, it doesn't feel like it at the time, but it is. Oh, wow, yeah. I was having a beautiful conversation with this gorgeous soul the other day, a young woman around 28, and she'd recently come to the decision that she simply wants to be single for a long time. Those were her words, a long time. She'd had a number of experiences that had her coming up for air to constantly try to work out what the partner was doing. You know, the mixed messages sort of scenario. Yeah, that's not cool. That's right, Bob. Mixed messages suck. Because if a person is sincere, you know exactly where you stand with them all the time. They don't risk having you wonder, and they don't risk losing you. And on we went with our talk, and she was saying that she was done beating herself up for not knowing more than she did about herself in a relationship, about feeling safe with her own thoughts and feelings and letting another in, and the awful games that she'd been subjected to that she just hadn't seen any of it coming. 28, bless her socks, and more wise than she realised to actually be saying that. She found it comforting to have it confirmed that there is no way in hell can you have yourself all sorted at 28. Saturn return in play for starters. Do I want to ask what a Saturn return is? Yeah, Bob, you do. Okay. Saturn returns are astrological phenomena that occur about every 30 years or so and can cause quite the stir every time they roll around. They strike around the age of 28, 29 in women when the planet Saturn literally returns to the exact zodiac sign, degree and house it was in when you were born. Wow, I know. Saturn rules topics like maturity, hard work, accountability, and ultimately adulthood. Your Saturn return, which will happen 2 or 3 times in your life, is a period of getting really serious about who you are, what your legacy is, and what you're here to leave for the world. The first Saturn return occurs, say, when you're around 28, 29, then again in your mid to late 50s, and if you live long enough, again in your late 80s. The challenges with a Saturn return are, chances are, you'll feel challenged during at least part of your Saturn return. You'll feel challenged to do better. You're going to find the flaws and the weaknesses, and you're going to have to work on them. During your Saturn return, you may feel like the universe is testing you. You have 2 choices, rise to the occasion or just keep playing small. Sometimes there's an existential crisis that happens during a Saturn return, which is why people see it as a source of suffering. Due to the nature of this period, there's a tremendous amount of change, but also growth that takes place. As such, it can feel like your life is being totally transformed. That's because it is, as you step into a new chapter, which can feel exciting, but also intimidating, making you question everything. There is a point to all this apparent trial and tribulation. You will grow because you won't be able to cut corners. At its face and at its best, the Saturn return is a big invitation to grow, learn new skills, and become stronger. So is a Saturn return good or bad then? Well, as with so many things, the answer to this question is a matter of perspective, Bob. Sure, you may come up against some hardship throughout a Saturn return, but what's life without a bit of struggle? Without it, we wouldn't learn the important lessons or get any of the great rewards. Saturn returns are a gift in the long run, but they do kick your butt a little bit along the way. Godfathers, I think I need to lie down. Well, you would, Bob. You must have had a couple of Saturn returns then by now. Yeah, I have. That explains a few things. Which are, Bob? Well, just that you're a very strong woman. Well, I'll take it, Bob. I feel like a very strong woman. Yes. # start a radical love affair. There's never going to be anything wrong with really valuing and, dare I say, loving yourself. It's time, don't you think? I think so. Yeah, I would say so. Absolutely, yes, Bob. Now, back to this beautiful 28-year-old woman I was talking to. I told her that in our 30s, you're still a young woman, working out you and your relationship to the world, your beliefs, your truest desires, people, prospective partners, if that's your aim. The world is changing fast and we need to be holding on to our hats. Hold on to your hats. That's right, Bob. I recall at around 41, I started to feel that I was only beginning, and I mean beginning with some awareness that I was starting to come into my own. So 28 is divinely young, as is 38 in my book for absolute sure. Let's normalise growth, self-growth, and to have a radical love affair that involves your self-respect and self-value.
Oh, yeah. Or just simmer down.
Feeling brave, Bob?
Yeah.
I could simmer down, but I like myself better when I'm all feisty and shit.
Yeah, me too.
I think we females are quite done with simmering down. Hashtag start a radical love affair. Don't wait for approval or permission. Get going with loving your life on your own terms. Radically, quietly, noisily, however you choose. Don't let a bob get in your way. But that's okay, Bob. I know deep down you're just scared that you're not sure what to say.
That's true, actually.
Yeah, I know, Bob, but I know you're genuinely trying, so that's why you're not back in your box.
Yeah, okay.
And you're not real.
Oh, steady on.
Now, as we all know, when we're going through a breakup or we're at the end of a series of breakups, like we can look back and see just breakup after breakup, the first thing that so many of us do is
Blame ourselves?
Yep, we blame ourselves. We turn inward and we try to find what's wrong with us. Worse than that, I don't think there is much trying to find. We just flat out blame ourselves. And I think that's where we can stay, and often way too long. If we can get out of that space and realise that at certain ages, we're not supposed to know for sure many things about ourselves as women. Women as young as 28 are blaming themselves for relationships that go belly up. When you look closely at the ding-dong that they were seeing, they got saved by the bell every single time. That wall you keep walking into is clearly the wrong way. This is where the beginning of being true to yourself far outweighs the opinions of others, particularly those that loved you madly yesterday, but by the next day, they're not sure.
See you later, loser.
Bloody right. They have to work to do, they've got work to do on themselves, and whether they do or not, who gives a fig?
Not I.
Correct, Bob. Be thoroughly invested in yourself, especially if you're at the end of another relationship, for want or another description, another failed fart, a waste of your time. Hashtag start a radical love affair. This is code for get to know yourself. Not wanting someone to save you, to keep you from feeling lonely, to have security, a sense of safety. There has to be deeper reasons to cohabitate with another, or even if it's not doing the whole living together gig, at least that someone who you are spending exclusive time with is worthy of your time. You can keep their people can keep their party face on for a while, and if it's not a party face, it's a much more pleasant version of their real selves. Hence why the passing of time has to happen before anyone can be sure of who they are actually with. It is important to not be making decisions out of fear or desperation. This one is a huge one, and understandably so. There's a lot to have to be wary of today, to be keeping yourself safe by walking that line of being a free woman. If something is not a hell yes, don't, for God's sake, do it. Developing our instincts and making sure that they are pretty well honed before making important decisions is, honestly something is worth considering. Give yourself a break from getting involved until you're damn sure of who you are, knowing your boundaries, so you can enforce them.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right. You're always right.
Well, we try, Bob.
My neighbour rang on my doorbell at 3 a.m.
No way. How inconsiderate.
I know. Luckily, I was still playing the drums.
Oh, Bob. Hashtag start a radical love affair. If you feel uncomfortable in a situation, don't hesitate to say something or remove yourself from it. You don't need to put up with anyone or anything just to be polite. Remember, someone else getting offended by you saying no, it's actually none of your concern. Never date someone with the expectation that you can fix them.
Oh, my God.
I know, been there, done that. If someone was unkind or problematic from the start, they won't change because of you. Similarly, don't date someone just because they claim to have changed for you. That's always bollocks.
I made a graph of all my past relationships.
Oh, yes.
It has an X-axis and a Y-axis.
Oh, I like it, Bob. Now, this is the T. This is for those who are in the early stages of meeting someone, like at least a year. That's early stages, not a week, not 3 months, a year. People generally do not change. They just learn to hide it better. And let's say they do. Make sure their changes do not happen on your watch. You just met, for goodness sake. For example, if they have a problem with alcohol, or you can see that they have an interesting relationship with the truth. They bullshit a lot, or they don't know why they do things. They do. You know, things that are simply deal breakers. Do not live with them while they're sorting it out. You will end up hating each other.
No, that's so true.
Absolutely. And it's not your responsibility to be their emotional boxing bag. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Oh, yeah, it'll ruin you.
It'll take away your zest for life. You will lose your direction, making their goals yours, which is what, say, to get sober. But wait, you were already sober. See where I'm going with this? They will never respect you. They are effectively using you and feel entitled to you giving up your life for them. Don't bloody do it. There's no winners there. Geez, my hope really is this meets the ears of someone who is ready to wake up. You will lose years of your life that can never be recouped. And getting very bloody serious about that radical love affair to protect yourself and to develop yourself has to be put in place piece by piece.
Bit by bit.
That's right, Bob. And you know what happens? The ding-dongs, they just don't put you on their radar because they know instantly that you are right out of their league, because you are. And you won't give them any time of your day because you're just not in their orbit.
My grandfather always said, fight fire with fire.
Oh, did he, Bob?
Yeah, he was a great man, but a terrible fireman.
Oh, Bob. The fact of the matter is we will always have ways to go with our evolvement if we're interested. If we accept our lot, we will never grow. And maybe not everyone wants to grow. Maybe not everyone knows that they can. But I know for sure that everyone does not want to be in stale relationships, putting up with bullshit on the daily, all in the name of love, which it isn't, by the way. It's not love. Love is... What is love, I hear you ask?
I didn't ask.
Yes, you did. You did somewhere deep down inside. For me, the topic of true love has been debated for centuries, hasn't it? So it's personal and individual, but there are lines of have-to-haves in order for it to be love, not lust, or you'll do because I can't have who I truly want, or the biggie, I don't want to do life alone. It's a tough one. We settle for companionship, or maybe that is the ultimate. I have found companionship to be very satisfying, but whatever it is for each person, it cannot be the same or one thing.
You know, I worked with a guy that had a lazy eye. We called him Uzi. Who's he looking at?
Oh, good on you, Bob. If I'm looking at life through the lens of, am I believing that blessings are coming? It feels far more full and gives life an air of expectancy. If I am thankful for the current blessings in my life.
I get grateful in reverse sometimes.
Do you, Bob?
Yeah, especially when I've got indigestion.
Sorry?
Yeah, before the indigestion, I wish I felt more grateful for not being in pain.
You know what? I actually get that, Bob.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, it can be just an error of forgetting to be grateful for the simple, which I have found the simple to be so full of spirit in life. And I ask, are you expecting that good things are just waiting for you to ask, stretching our own belief about what is foreseeably possible to right out of our comfort zone? A good thing to remember to not living in limitation. Many of our own life experiences decades ago when I did not know from one day to the next. Say, for example, if my kids were safe and being so profoundly grateful for every day that they were. Yes, these situations change you, and in good ways, if nothing else, to appreciate that you never gave up, that you showed up when no one else would. It showed me to dream bigger, stretching that old belief system. Can I have a sip of your coffee, Bob?
Touch my coffee and I'll slap you so hard even Google won't be able to find you.
Your lips are moving, but the wrong words are coming out, Bob.
Yeah, I know.
It's a bit violent, but then you're only a figment of my imagination.
Yeah, true.
Hashtag start a radical love affair. You know, they say don't date a man with a beard until you've seen him without it.
Why?
Well, you think you've landed Thor, then he shaves and bam, it's Pee Wee Herman. So starting a radical love affair with you, that's the whole concept of being aware that you're aware. Premeditated ignorance is the quality of deliberate, unawareness, they would have to be one of the oddest creatures I have ever stumbled upon and avoid at all costs. It's when people know that they don't want to know, because if they know, then they would have to take responsibility for the knowledge or what they've done, and therefore would be required to renegotiate their identity. At best, they would be compelled to leave their comfort zone.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's right. That's right. So that radical love affair with yourself means the past is gone. Just because you did something wrong in the past doesn't mean you can't advocate against it now. It doesn't make you a hypocrite. You grew. Don't let people use your past to invalidate your current mindset. Growth. It's a mindset. Embrace it, please.
Someone offered me grapes, but I declined. Not used to consuming wine in pill form.
All right.
I named my dog 5 Miles.
Why?
Because so I can tell people that I walk 5 miles every day.
Hashtag start a radical love affair. If you have jumped in or considered starting a very worthwhile love affair,
And a radical one at that.
yeah, it'll change your life in the best ways for all time. It will change the type of people that are attracted to you. It will most importantly change how you care about yourself. I am an advocate for self-care and championing our self-worth. With those two practices in place, your life will forever be changed. When someone asks you, Bob, where you see yourself, say, in 5 years,
Geez, buddy, I'm just trying to make it to Friday.
thanks for that, Bob.
It's okay.
You know, once you know, you know. And it's that time again.
Oh, no, it can't be. How can it be?
Look, Bob, it's time to wrap it up and just get going.
Oh, okay, then.
Look, thanks for joining us, everyone. And if you lasted this long, you're a bloody legend.
Yeah, you bloody well are.
Okay, then. Say good day to the family for me. Give the seagull a wave. And we'll see you next time, okay? Okay, then.
Bye.
Bye-bye.